Hey guys, welcome to my review of Resident Evil 2. I'm so glad you guys decided to watch this because it's my first time ever writing a review on any game ever. And you'll get to see how awful I am at this until I can figure out a consistent way of being good. Uh, we're in for a long one here, so I hope you can sit back, relax, grab a warm beverage, and let's get into this. First off, I know this will likely incur a lot of discussion in the chat, so all I ask before I start is to keep conversations civil and constructive because I love speaking to my audience about things I love too. Resident Evil 2 was one of those games that I didn't grow up with as a kid. I actually got into it because in 2019, when they made the remake, which is what you're seeing here, that hit the store and I picked it up and at the time didn't know what to expect. I did play previous entries in the past, namely Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, so I knew somewhat what I was getting myself into, but not quite like this. For those of you who aren't familiar with the franchise, Resident Evil is a survival horror series. This isn't for kids. In this game, two protagonists take center stage and lead you on a journey through a zombie infested Midwest town called Raccoon City. On one hand, you have Leon S. Kennedy, a rookie cop looking to do the right thing and make a difference. On the other hand, you have Claire Redfield, a worried sister looking to find her lost brother. In a game like this, the most important thing to relate to the player is a sense of shared interest. With Claire, she needs answers on where her brother might have gone. And luckily for her, she finds someone who can set her on the right track. Unfortunately for her, the things kind of slope downwards and set her back a ways when she discovers that this town where she grew up has been overrun by zombies and her motivation has to shift to survival. This is where shared interests become so important because for her, meeting Leon means her hopes of survival have suddenly improved. He's a police officer, he knows his way around a gun and can defend himself in the likely event he's attacked. But even more important for Claire is the fact that she can get the answers she needs through Leon. Answers to questions like, where's my brother? How did the zombie outbreak begin? Where do we go from here? Now, I know the story is linear. What I do want to say is that every choice she makes isn't small, and especially for Leon as well. It's not like how it is at my home where I want I might want to lay in bed and check my stocks or haul my dirty laundry to the laundromat down the street, which I still have to do, by the way. It's about opening a locked basement, opening a secret pathway to an underground laboratory, and uncovering the truth behind an evil corporation that experiments with bioengineered monsters for military use. So, Leon S. Kennedy is the second protagonist in this overarching story. For all he knows, he's out on another routine patrol looking for suspicious characters to investigate. His motivation is not very fleshed out in this game in the beginning, and to be honest, it doesn't have to be. All I really want to know is he's a cop, he's got a gun, and he's got Claire Redfield's back no matter what happens. What I love so much about this entry, though, is really how Claire and Leon, on their own, are really so ordinary. Not commandos, just a cop and a worried sister. Then they have to build this bond between one another, which, by the way, at first felt a little romantic in some ways. Finally, they confront the perpetrators of the zombie outbreak and have to stop them so that it never happens again. It's not like they're completely alone though, so you might have noticed there are two protagonists and I had to choose which story I wanted to follow first. Well, I chose to play as Claire, and I noticed Sherry, who you meet later on, is someone you imagine meeting in a zombie apocalypse. For those who don't know yet, right, Sherry is just a little girl who's trying to survive like Claire and is also looking for someone like Claire is. Claire is looking for her brother while Sherry is looking for her mom. What I didn't expect is that Sherry turns out to be, spoiler alert, the daughter of the two perpetrators behind this outbreak. I mean, that really throws a curveball at what are the odds? I'm so glad I picked Claire first instead of Leon because Sherry's so important to the story, and I'll tell you why. Let's jump to Leon's story really fast. He meets someone later on called Ada Wong, and she's a government FBI agent, right? Sent to locate those responsible for the outbreak. Sherry is just so important because she's the daughter of the perpetrators and therefore lends some humanity to them, you know? Ada Wong knows whoever did it needs to be put down, but think about it and what that means for a second. She'll have to kill Sherry's parents, Annette and William Birkin, which would ruin Sherry's life and her goal at this point. It kind of makes you think, what if someone was going to kill Claire's brother, Chris Redfield? What would that mean? It gives you a huge incentive to root against Ada, that you want to keep playing. I want to see Ada hesitate for a second, just long enough for, maybe Claire to show up and disarm her before she can pull the trigger. Then if Leon interferes because he's looking after Ada Wong too, I mean, really, I could tell he just romantically has fallen for her. But whose side would he really be on? How can Sherry ever live a normal life, even if she does end up with her parents again? How can Leon really call himself a peacekeeper if he stands idly by and lets Ada Wong kill Annette and William without due process of the law? So, think about it. Much is at stake, and these two characters, Leon and Claire, never signed up for this kind of torture. That's what I love so much about this entry to this series. The gameplay is phenomenal, by the way, because of resource management and keeping Claire alive and Leon alive, the proper amount of healing stims, ammo for their firearms of choice. I just didn't want to die overall because I didn't want to think that the main characters ever die before the payoff happens. On the top of that, you haven't even heard the best part. The corporation that Sherry's parents work for are furious over what has happened. They can't possibly stand aside and wait for Ada Wong to learn what the company has created, which is this virus that released the outbreak. They need to cover up. So of all the ideas to implement like a giant nuke, maybe some kind of hitman perhaps, well, you guessed it, they keep it subtle and, use a hitman, but not any ordinary hitman, of course. I mean, instead, they use an unfeeling mutant bioorganism that they created themselves in their labs to put out a hit on Leon, Claire, Ada, and Sherry, and anybody else who's still alive. So it's the perfect strategy because I thought the zombies would be more than enough to handle, but now I got Mr. X to deal with. That's literally what he's called. I'm sure all the Resident Evil fans can conjure up a picture just thinking of him. So, in the end, did I like it? The answer is yes. If you couldn't tell, everything from the character motivations, the characters themselves, and the maturity the characters develop over time, well, it makes me feel good about myself for sticking around. Also, the fact that these characters start off so ordinary in the beginning to becoming willing participants in something so much bigger and more sinister than they ever hoped to imagine makes me like them even more. But anyway, what do you guys think? Would you play Resident Evil 2 if I told you right now to pick it up and play it? Would you play it again now that you watched this? Write down in the comments and let me know what you like about the story of Resident Evil 2. What is your favorite character? And, what was your favorite part of the story? Even the gameplay. Until next time, folks, this is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey guys, really fast. I know this was my first review. Hope you guys liked it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts as always. And I really wanted to say one quick thing about Resident Evil 2 is that I really enjoyed the Ada Wong connection between or Leon, it was so well done, and it was so it seemed so authentic to me. I was so worried that they were actually going to make it look like she didn't care about Leon. That no, maybe it was all about the mission after all, and it wasn't really, anything to do with him. But you'll be surprised that these uh these games can really take you on a journey, and I gotta say that you should just check it out. I don't want to spoil anything, but you're really gonna like it if you ever get a chance to play Resident Evil 2 Remake. Yeah, take it from me.